Good evening and welcome to the program Ask the Ministers of God right here on MBCI TV, your most favorite channel. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. And tonight, according to World Health Organization, an approximate over 700,000 people commit suicide every year. Closer home, at least 400 people die by suicide every year. Now, we want to look at what is it that is causing these mind-boggling figures. What is it that needs to be done? What is it that the church, what is it that the society needs to know as far as a rising number of cases of suicide continue to bring a menace in the society and even in the nation at large? Karibu sana, my name is Mangicho Mola. I have a great panel that will help us to unravel and even to unpack our discussion tonight. And as we always do, let me give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. As a panel of great ladies, they'll be able to introduce themselves to you. Then, of course, as we always do, we'll get into the details of our conversation tonight. Karibuni sana. It's good to see you. Let me give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves. Then we'll be able to tackle this particular subject. Let me start with the one who is very close to me. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Mugichi. I am Elizabeth. I'm saved. I love the Lord. I work with the Full Gospel Churches of Kenya in Keva.
Wow.
God bless you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Karibu sana.
Yes.
We look forward to you helping us to have some clarity as far as our conversation tonight is concerned. Our second guest also have a pleasure to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Viewers, my name is Beatrice Wamboy, and I'm born again. Christ is Lord. I'm a witness of Christ Jesus, serving under Apostle Dan Geshimo and Reverend Nancy Geshimo in Hore Ministry International. Praise the name of the Lord.
Amen.
So we are international, and we bless the name of the Lord for this opportunity. Thank you. Welcome.
Karibu sana, Minister Beat. It's also a pleasure to have you tonight, and we also look forward to your input, helping us to unravel this particular matter tonight. We also want to welcome you to give us your opinions, your reflections, as far as this particular discussion is concerned. Catch us live on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV, and as we always do, we'll be glad to appreciate your feedback and your opinions on the same. Let me just start with you, Elizabeth. I've already talked about these figures, over 700,000 across the world. Closer home, 408 every year. What is your quick assessment of this scenario?
According to me, this is quite a big number, and it is increasing every now and then.
Okay.
And it is something that needs to be handled before it gets overboard.
Wow.
Because we are losing quite a big number in that rate. I should say that it is one of the major causes that is taking away our people's lives. Yeah.
Okay, so something that actually needs to be considered. And also, Beatrice, listening to these statistics, what is it that is provoking your mind?
Yeah. When you see a change from something that has been happening, there's something that has stopped happening, or there is a breakdown of leadership somewhere. And so, to me, I would start from the upbringing.
Okay.
In our times, okay, I'm not so old and I'm not so young. So there were, we were allowed to face some challenges. Our parents allowed us to face some challenges and even do hard work. They would leave us to think of yourself. You left at home, what should be eaten, and you're not told. And so we were being trained to be responsible and facing tough challenges. You're coming from school, you never used to sit down. You take what? Your food and go to Shamba. There are lines you should. By the time the darkness is hitting in, there are lines you're supposed to be through. But nowadays, there's that, I think there's a lot of overprotection. There is a lot of spoon feeding, and that is not exposing the children to the right or the life they should face. Like now, if I'm bringing up a boy, I should have at the back of my mind that I'm bringing somebody's husband up, and I am bringing somebody's father up. And so at the back of my mind, I should know I am here to prepare a society. Nowadays, you're getting a fourth form boy who cannot fix a bulb.
Okay.
He's a fourth form, but has a girlfriend. You see, it's the upbringing. So how do you have a boy who cannot even slaughter? Kuna mwingine walikuwa wanasema, me, mom, you can only give me when it is worked on. Imechinjwa, imetolewa manyoya, and that's a boy. So what kind of a society do you think we are preparing? And so we've been bringing children in a way that they will not be able to stand the challenges of life according to the way they were brought up. So they are not to blame. We are to blame.
Wow. The issue of upbringing, and thank you so much, Beatrice. You've really brought it up very well. I'll be coming back to you. I know there are so many other causes. Maybe we'll tackle quite a number that maybe are of major weight as compared maybe to the others. But Elizabeth, listening to Beatrice and the issue of upbringing, but even before we come to that, are we looking maybe at how maybe life has changed when you talk about maybe the pressures? So many people may be attributing this rising number of suicidal tendencies, suicidal cases to the pressures of life. Are we looking at maybe it is too much that we are having today, and maybe so many people are not in a position maybe to handle?
I think it is very correct as you are putting it. Just to mention, like my sister said, starting from the way we are bringing up our children, it's like that we are not exposing them to what real life is. We are having that overprotection. We don't want them to be tired. We want to think for them. And we want to tell them life is simple, of which it is not the reason.
Yes.
The children have not developed the capacity to bear all about life. Personally, I know life is tough, and it requires a tough person to go through it. And we have pampered our children so much that they don't have time to think for themselves, and they think that as parents we have all the solution. But they have become grown-ups to a point of even being family members, whereby if he's a man, he has to be depended on. The wife, the children will look at him as the father, who should provide, who should do everything that is required as a father. But you still find that he is lacking. The reason is he has never been exposed to all what life may mean. When they are in school, the moment they come home, they are not exposed to those duties that should bring them up. They are not exposed to issues about life whereby they are able to think and think by themselves and get the answers.
Right.
They will have to call home, Daddy, what is happening? What is happening? In fact, one may be just a big man driving a car and it breaks down. He just picks a phone and calls Dad at home.
Yes.
This is what has happened to the car. Provide a solution. And some say, Dad instructed me and I followed what he said, and the car was able to move. But that is not the thing. We should be, or rather our children and our youth must be self-dependent, must be able to use even the wisdom that God has given them.
Wow.
And as a result of this, when they come to their end about a problem, now you find themselves thinking that the only solution is to terminate my life, of which that is not the reason. That should not be the reason to terminate your life.
Okay.
You need to think beyond the problem and see the solution.
Sure.
Because everything has a solution.
Everything has a solution.
Everything has a solution. And we are able to provide solutions on our own. So I think that this issue of suicide can be dealt with if only our youth and our people can be one, talked to.
And actually, Elizabeth, thank you so much for your explanation. We'll be coming briefly to look at what is it that needs to be done.
Yes.
What are some of the actions that actually needs to be put into place, and maybe even try to narrow down, like, for example, the role of the church, the role of the parents, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But, Beatrice, what did you say therefore? Because if you're talking about maybe, and there are those who are really attributing this particular issue, this state of affairs, to the pressures, and maybe even specifically economic pressures. But are we therefore saying that for those who do not have maybe problems as far maybe as economical issues are concerned, are not affected by the subject of suicide? Looking at the pressures that we've already talked about, and there are so many people think that most people take away their lives, take their own lives because of maybe poverty, harsh economic times, failure maybe to get a job. But when you look at it, does it therefore mean that suicide does not affect maybe those who are moneyed, those who have property, those who have wealth?
No, 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 no. Many rich and high in profiles are dying and are committing suicide because there's a vacuum in the inside. Some are fighting with things they cannot explain. Okay. But what I would say is we were not given a good life or a bad life. You are given a life to make it what you want it to be. And that thing of saying or telling my son, you are a man. Yeah? It comes with the strength with it. You are a man and one day you'll be out of this house. This house is mine and daddy. And you have your own house. And so this is the way, you see. You start molding a man who is tough from their childhood. Right. And this man grows as you put that strength. So when we grew up, we came like we were brought up in a very harsh way, so we want to bring a better life to our children.
And most parents who were brought up like that, maybe a good number are saying, we wouldn't also want maybe our to make our children also to go through that.
Right.
Are they spoiling them by doing that?
I tell you the truth. You're getting a boy who cannot fix a bulb, but has a girlfriend. So with the time they are getting married, the boy cannot even hold a chicken. the boy cannot, so many things because mommy used to do them. So ata wakikosana, he would just run to mommy or call. The daughter the same. He was not taught, the house girls were there throughout to wash their clothes, to do the kitchen work. So he doesn't know what comes first. So kupika hajui na ameoleka. Nothing, kufua manguo anachoka, anameoleka. So you find there is identity crisis. And it's the way people are bringing up children, if I may go back there. And so there is what the girl expects from the boy, and she doesn't know she's the one to make a husband out of the boy. Yes. And the guy doesn't know he's the one to make a wife from the girl, because the girl has never been a wife, neither has the man been a husband, you see. Yes. Those basics, basics, when we were in primary, we were being told the basic needs, the things that are required, things they've been lacking. Okay, and at times they've been in the theory form, but not in the practicals. So at that time, ndio unasikia sasa mizozo imeanza. Others have everything. They have the cars, they have everything. But now there is the real life to live. There is the real life. Now I'm with the husband in the house. So what is expected of me? Sure. What is expected? So you find my husband wants to see his mother in me, yeah? And I am expecting to see my daddy in my husband. There's a revelation of, or it is revealing, there were not people on the ground to tell me who is a husband, to tell my husband who is a wife. What do I expect? So the other things we call the heartaches. I call it the scars of brotherhood, whereby you've been hurt and deep heartaches from the childhood, and you've not been able to deal with these heartaches, and they pile daily. And so as even as ministers, you get to a place of the ministry, yes, you have a sound word, but you've really piled, there are deep wounds in you that have not been worked on. Nobody has helped you to do this therapy of dealing with the pains in you, because the things that offend will always come. So they continue piling and piling.
Wow. Wow, absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Minister Beatrice. You're still catching us live on MBCI TV. Thank you so much. We are tackling the subject of suicide. It's a sitting time bomb and something needs to be done. On set is two great ladies helping us to find out what is it that needs to be done. Continue dropping your comment or two. We'll continue to appreciate them. We are coming back with plenty more after this short breather.